So what all you do is you go into the app and it asks me 3 initial feelings. How are you feeling today? And I'm feeling very good today. How good is your sense of smell today? This one I have trouble answering every day. And then you hit begin and it times you for 20 seconds.
Barbara Walker is smell training. It's an exercise described by experts as physical therapy for your nose.
And it's mint. So I smell that so clearly. Mint, mint, mint. Love it. We're gonna do this 10 times. Next one, the cumin.
Barb lost her sense of smell 34 years ago after a traumatic brain injury she suffered in a car accident.
I don't remember going through the windshield. I remember being in the road though. I had landed on the back of my head and fractured my skull. And that is what causes often the shearing of the olfactory nerve.
The olfactory nerve sits behind the eyes on a fragile plate at the front of the skull. It's easily severed in head injuries and typically a permanent condition. Almost 3 years ago, Barb thought she smelled lemon. She'd been vaping medical marijuana and thinks it made a difference.
You get fresh pines.
But research is slim and other possibilities are vast.
And I can definitely smell it. So I'm like, okay. Lonnie and Michael are here. I said, break a branch and smell it. Do you smell it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I like picked up that the scent of this tree is still alive.
The experience sent Barb on a quest into a world she called the Smelliverse. She surrounded herself with smells, used a prescription nasal rinse, and researched everything from surgeries to a bionic nose.
That smells like lemon. Really good lemon, too. This one, oh my God. Oh, it smells so good.
For people experiencing smell disorders, it's more than an inconvenience. The science of smell has shown it's intimately tied to safety and taste, memory and mental health.
You get a rider when you lose your sense of smell. Anxiety. You completely lose a sense of what yourself smells like, first of all, and then what everything else smells like. It affects you all day, every bit of what you're doing. But now on to ospreys.
Over the course of nearly 2 years, she kept a list of new smells, including the fish she feeds to birds as the founder of a raptor rescue.
Something is working. Something is working. It smells bad in here. There may be some thoughts that the sense of smell might be less valued until you lose it. It's hard to think of not having a sense of smell if you have one.
13 million Americans were estimated to have a smell disorder before the pandemic, a number experts agree is underreported. Millions more lost their sense of smell to the virus. About a quarter haven't regained it.
Everywhere you turn, something's going on with the sense of smell. And now that so many people lost it and they realize, I think, the value collectively. When this many people lose their sense of smell, people are miserable. They cannot eat, they cannot sleep, they are depressed, they are anxious. There's a lot that goes with it. I love that. It makes you feel like you can smell the world.
At the University of Florida's Center for Smell and Taste, researchers and clinicians work to expand knowledge of the understudied sense.
Up until now, people did not have a lot of options. So 2 of the big treatments we didn't necessarily do 10 years ago for smell disorders are steroid sinus irrigations, as well as smell retraining therapy or olfactory training.
It's unclear why smell training works, on which type of smell disorders it works, and why it works for some people and not others. The pandemic brought attention and research dollars to the field.
It's also giving us patients that we can follow over time to see, because again, we're really in the early stages, right? COVID only started 3 years ago, and we don't know how things are going to look 10 years from now.
Researchers like Dr. Munger and clinicians like Dr. Justice want to see smell testing integrated into regular health screenings. It not only identifies the existence of a smell disorder to address mood, safety, and dietary needs, But it can also be an early indicator of diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or diabetes.
White, you'll go from red to green. It'll make a sound to warn you that it's coming.
This is an olfactometer, one of the few ways to objectively test the sense of smell. Barb is taking 2 tests, an identification test and a threshold test. In the first test, scents are emitted from the machine and Barb has to guess. The second test emits scents at different concentrations.
So the score on the odor ID test was 5 out of 12. So that is more than one would expect by chance. But it's certainly less than perfect. And the ones that you got correct were pineapple, rubber tire, banana, smoke, and apple.
Pineapple. It took me a second on that pineapple. I was like, I know this one really well, and I'm like, wait, and I'm like,
So this is the threshold test here. This would suggest you have some ability to smell, but it's far from fully intact, which is, I think the two of them together are consistent.
That's a lot better than nothing.
That is, yes.
And
Barb is hyposmic, meaning she has a limited sense of smell. The reason she is smelling now and not before is still a mystery. But perhaps more important than a reason for Barb is validation.
it is just absolutely scientifically shown to me that it is not my imagination. Oh, it feels really happy thing. So yeah, you know what? Nobody should ever get discouraged. You keep trying.